A guy on the Fine Homebuilding forum spent $3,200 building a backyard shed. Nice lumber, decent roof, even painted it to match his house. 2 years later, the whole thing was sinking into the dirt. The floor joists were rotting from underneath because his foundation was old rocks and broken cinder blocks sitting in wet soil. The fix? Jacking the entire structure, excavating the base, pouring a real gravel pad, and replacing every piece of wood that touched the earth. He spent more saving the shed than building it. I spent about 3 hours going through contractor forms, building inspector reports, and consumer complaint databases for this video. The same 5 mistakes show up constantly, and each one costs 10 to 50 times more to fix than to prevent. Here are 5 shed building mistakes that turn a weekend project into a money pit. Number 1. Skipping the foundation or faking it with cinder blocks. I personally think this is the most underrated conversation in all of shed building because nobody attaches real numbers to it. A proper gravel pad for a 10 by 12 shed costs $300 to $600 if you do it yourself. Angular crusher run, compacted with landscape fabric underneath. Those sharp-edged stones interlock when you tamp them down and stay put for decades. But here's what actually happens. Most guys grab 6 cinder blocks from the Home Depot parking lot at $1.50 each and set them in the grass. $9 total. It feels solid in September. Then winter hits. Freeze-thaw cycles push the blocks sideways. Rain softens the soil underneath. One corner drops 2 inches, then 3. The shed door starts jamming. The floor flexes when you walk across it. And now you've got untreated wood sitting in standing water, which means rot has already started. The average shed repair runs $957 according to HomeAdvisor data. Floor rot starts at $800 per section, and if damage hits 50% of the structure's value, most contractors say tear it down. Removal alone costs up to $3,500, all to save $300 on gravel. And by the way, pea gravel is the wrong gravel. Round stones roll like marbles under load. You want the angular stuff. But foundation damage is at least something you can see. This next mistake is invisible until it financially destroys you. Number 2, skipping the building permit. I know, it's a shed. It feels absurd to file paperwork for a glorified garden closet. The permit itself usually costs $50 to $200, but here's what your building department can actually do. Massachusetts charges up to $1,000 per day. New York City starts at $600. Texas commonly charges triple the permit fee plus $500 on top, and those are just the government fines. A Florida homeowner built a $6,000 shed that violated an HOA rule. That single shed triggered $15,000 in interest and attorney fees, a lien on the house threatening auction, and $6,500 for an alternative fence. Total damage from skipping a $100 permit? Over $27,000. I read the full case, and honestly, it made me physically uncomfortable. The insurance angle matters too. If an unpermitted structure causes injury on your property, your insurer can deny the liability claim entirely. Most jurisdictions exempt sheds under 120 to 200 square feet, but Fort Worth requires permits for every shed regardless. Call your local building department before you dig. 10 minutes. Free. Now, foundations and permits are the financial traps. This next one physically destroys everything you store in your shed. Number 3, ignoring moisture until your tools are covered in mold. Wood rot starts within 1 to 6 months of direct ground contact, not years, months. And mold colonizes surfaces within 48 hours of water exposure. Here's what genuinely surprised me during research. If you add a vapor barrier to an unheated, uninsulated shed, you actually make things worse. The barrier traps moisture that would normally ventilate on its own, and you get condensation and mold forming faster than if you'd done nothing. I had to read that 3 times before it clicked. Metal sheds are even worse for this. Forum users report rust forming on stored tools overnight, mold growing inside closed drawers, and electronics shorting out from condensation. Above 60% humidity, water just forms on cold metal walls constantly. The fix costs almost nothing. Ridge vents run $50 to $150. A ground vapor barrier is $30 to $80. Compare that to mold remediation at $15 to $30 per square foot. If you're finding this useful, hit subscribe. I cover tools, sheds, and workshop builds every week, and I'll never recommend something I wouldn't spend my own money on. Now the mistake that can put you in actual physical danger. Number 4. Structural shortcuts that lead to real collapses. In December 2022, a farmer named Mike Clemens was inside his equipment shed in central North Dakota when 2 feet of snow brought the entire 70 by 120-foot roof down. He was blown out the door by the air displacement. He survived. Barely. Backyard sheds collapse from the exact same physics, and the cause is almost always undersized framing. The most common version? 2x4 floor joists, because that's what the shed kit included. One garage journal user who built with Home Depot's suggested floor kit described the result as, quote, real mushy. He upgraded to 2x8s on 12-inch centers with 3/4-inch treated plywood, and 20 years later, the floor still feels like concrete. The rule is 1 inch of joist depth per foot of span. A 2x4 handles 4 feet. That's it. 2x6 minimum for any real shed. And a fastener detail that costs $0 extra but prevents catastrophic failure. Building codes require nails for structural framing, not screws. Nails bend under stress, which gives you warning. Screws snap without warning, which gives you a collapsed wall. And if you're using pressure-treated lumber, the copper treatment actively corrodes regular fasteners. Only hot-dipped galvanized or ACQ-rated fasteners should touch treated wood. That's the kind of detail nobody puts on the box at Lowe's. Last one. And honestly, this might be the most infuriating because it can hit you years after you've already finished building and forgotten about it entirely. Number 5. Putting your shed in the wrong spot. Setback violations are the sleeper disaster of shed building. Standard requirements are 5 to 10 feet from property lines, and they often surface when you sell your house or a new neighbor files a complaint. A Pennsylvania homeowner who bought a house with a shed on the rear property line got a demand letter years later requiring relocation within 30 days. Moving a shed professionally costs $300 to $1,500 plus another foundation at the new spot. But the real hidden destroyer is utility easements. A Georgia homeowner placed a shed on an easement, and the utility company forced full removal at the homeowner's expense. They have the legal right to dismantle anything in their easement, and you pay every dollar. Always call 811 before you place anything. One more thing. Shed kits from the big box stores hide 30 to 50% of real cost. No kit includes a foundation. Many skip roofing, paint, and drip edge. One person on a Bogleheads forum bought a Costco 8x12 kit for $1,000, then spent another $1,000 making it weather tight. The price doubled before he swung a hammer. Here's what it all comes down to. The people who spend the least on sheds, long-term spend an extra $500 to $1,500 up front on a proper gravel pad, correct lumber, and a building permit. Then they never think about it again for 25 years. That's the real deal. If this video helped you out, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.